What's going on, Ghosties? Welcome back to Tales of Spooky Coffee House. If you're new here, welcome to our podcast. We are your hosts. I'm Veronica.
And I'm Chelsea.
And it's time for our much needed coffee break. And actually, for our coffee break, and actually for the whole episode, we have a special guest.
Hi. It's me.
She's back. We have Z with us here today. We have, something going on right now. So Z and I are actually in Vegas. So if we sound a little different, we apologize for the audio. We are doing our best with what we have. And Chelsea is being mother. We were singing that song Mother by Megan Trainor. And so I know, Ghosties, you don't really know this because Chelsea edits those parts out, but she be mothering her children, right?
Had me jumping on the bed almost go to sleep.
And you know that song, Chelsea, right? Mother by Megan Trainor?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Z said you're definitely...
I am your mother.
You listen to me.
Chelsea. You listen to me.
Oh, I love it.
Speaking of mother, actually, I have a funny little thing. So you know how I've told you before, my TikTok is full of like Scream stuff right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I was watching an interview with two of the cast members, and they were talking about how Nev is like mother for them.
Mm-hmm.
Well, one of them who plays Chad, I can't think of his name like right away. He goes, "Yeah, Nev is mommy." And his coworker who plays his sister in the movie was like, "Do you know what that means nowadays? Like, you just called her mommy." And he's like, "Yeah, she's our mommy." And she's like, "It's sexual." He goes, "What? No, they always call her mommy." And she's like, "You mean mother?"
Wow.
Yeah, mommy is a little weird.
It's a little weird.
Mommy.
Hey, mommy. Mommy,
But he was
mommy, please.
so
Mommy.
he was so innocent and so oblivious. I was laughing my ass off.
Oh, no. So, Chelsea, I have a question for you, and I actually have a question for you, Z.
Okay.
Oh God.
No. It's fine. Everything's fine. Do you guys remember the first time you ever got drunk?
Yes.
Of course Chelsea would. I feel like you have really good memory. I don't. I don't know if I remember.
I remember past 28 years.
Well, it's so funny you bring that up, Veronica. Last episode we were talking about how you let everybody believe I was pregnant for like 4 months.
What?
Right? It's not true. If you don't remember, it didn't happen.
That was the night that I got drunk for the very first time, was at your quinceañera.
I didn't even get drunk at my quince. I probably had like...
Oh, dude, I was fucked up.
So you might not have been gone,
so-
but I was.
I don't know if you remember this, but when your family got drunk, they had those red beer cans, and then they bought the kids Coca-Cola cans. And so a lot of us were switching them out. We were grabbing the beer and giving the adults the colas.
That's messed up.
They were too drunk to
What if
notice.
the kids nowadays did that to us? They switched our Budweisers with it. I'd be so sad. Like, no, give me a beer.
I know the difference. Thank you.
Yeah, that was the first night I got drunk. Now, blackout drunk, that's different, but that's the first night I got drunk.
You shouldn't even remember when you got blackout drunk.
I do.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I remember the exact moment I blacked out.
Oh, I don't remember that.
I do, like, exactly when I blacked out and then when I woke up.
I don't think I've ever blacked out.
I have.
Yeah.
It was only once, and I never want to do it again.
Yeah, no. I'm good.
Yeah.
Wait, so when was the first time you got drunk?
I think it was like at my minor friendly parties that I would have.
Oh, okay.
My little gatherings with you guys.
Yeah.
At my house.
Those Four Locos you used to freaking drink.
I would try Locos and then I'd throw it up just an hour or two later.
Oh.
It was bad, but I was down for it.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why I don't really drink much anymore, because I had my fun. I had my fix.
I had it. I had the time.
Yeah.
It's not great. It's not great.
It's not, yeah.
It hurts.
So, Veronica.
Yes.
Veronica, did you tell Z what you said while you were on the phone with me earlier this morning when you were getting gas?
Oh, shit. The frog?
No. Oh, no, the serial killer.
Okay. So I was, before I picked you up.
Yeah.
I went to go get gas, and I was on the phone with Chelsea because she was like, "Text me ASAP. I have a question that I need answered." And I was scared.
I was scared.
So I have her on my AirPods, and I'm like walking from my car into the gas station, and it's like 7:30 in the morning, but there's like people, right? And so I'm walking, and I'm like, I think we were discussing. Chelsea was asking me if she had already done a certain killer because she remembers talking about them and mentioning them, but couldn't find it in our history.
Okay.
So I think we, all in all, like, and we figured out that we just talked about it. We just mentioned that serial killer.
Okay.
I've done that too, where I was looking for a serial killer, and then I was like, oh, maybe I shouldn't say that out loud. And then Chelsea lost it, and I was like, yeah, I shouldn't be saying that out loud.
She said it so confidently too.
Well, because like it's my world, and you're just living in it. You know what I mean? Like,
people at the gas station probably like, oh my god, what the hell? Oh my god.
Imagine they're like, I'm right here.
No.
You want to interview me?
Ew. I hate it.
Speaking of serial killers, so I got called out on TikTok.
Oh.
Ooh, why? Who? Why? What?
So you know how like stuff will like show up on your FYP page based on what you watch and everything?
Yeah.
So there was this TikTok that popped up, and it's like, oop, I got your comfort character. Let's see who it is. And I'm like, okay, I'm kind of curious. Like, I want to know. And then it shows Billy Loomis from Scream. Okay.
Of course.
And yeah, of course. I was like, yeah, that's normal. And then there's a little voice right after I thought that on the TikTok. Like the TikTok itself says this, and it goes, that's a serial killer.
Oh, gross.
Oh, I watched the first Scream.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah, finally.
The one with Drew Barrymore and Johnny Depp, right? Okay.
Johnny
Depp is not in it.
Oh, wait, what am I thinking of?
You're thinking of A Nightmare on Elm Street.
Oh, that's what I'm thinking of. Damn.
Get your serial your...
Wow. Get your serial killers and organize them, please.
But yeah, I watched the first one, and I think I started watching the second one where it's the mom.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, but I lost interest and I stopped watching. I stopped paying attention pretty much.
Mm.
The second one's not my favorite at all.
Yeah, it's just not it. Like, it's not I don't know. I don't think they picked the right actors.
I have all of them on Vudu, and I haven't watched. I've watched the first one, obviously, but I haven't watched it in a long, long time.
I have Paramount Plus because of work. They gave it to us for a year for free.
Oh,
because I work at Hooters.
Oh yeah.
Just kidding. Imagine.
I was like,
yeah.
I was like, did she just say that?
No, I'm just kidding. I don't work at Hooters.
She works.
I've never been.
Don't let her fool you.
No, I've never been to Hooters either. I forgot what we were saying, but yeah.
That you got Paramount Plus from work.
Yeah. So I have them, and I could watch them easily. That's why I watched the first one. I was like, you know what? F it. I can't find anything to watch.
Get into Chelsea's mindset.
Yeah. Chelsea's like over here, like kind of forcing me to watch it, but not in a bad way, you know. And I enjoyed the first one. I just couldn't finish the second one though.
Yeah, the second one and the fourth one I can live without.
Oh, okay.
Like, I think the storyline for 2 was good. They just did it wrong.
I see. Well, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Have you seen, I don't know if I've asked you this. Have you guys seen that movie Barbarian?
No.
Oh my gosh. I watched it. Not cool.
Barbarian.
Not cool, man. Very, very, like, it'll give you nightmares.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
Can I tell you guys about a dream I had the other night?
Oh, okay.
Complete topic switch.
So you know how I've been watching The Last of Us, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so on The Last of Us, Bella Ramsey plays Ellie.
Yeah.
And so I've been watching it, whatever. And then in real life, I've been searching for a new therapist because the therapist I had, she quit because, I don't know, whatever's going on.
Because of your mind.
That's a stank face you're giving me.
It's so funny because I was picturing that face when she got quiet.
His stanky face.
You know what, Chelsea? Ew. Anyways, so in my dream, I'm on my way to go see this new therapist. And I'm on the freeway and it's taking me forever to get there. It's like a long drive. And on the freeway, there's like these dark clouds, which I'm assuming is in my head because of the rain and stuff. And so there's these like really dark clouds, but they're like very close to like the ground and stuff. So it was really weird. And then there was like a warning sign, you know, those bright signs they put on the freeways with the orange lettering, giving a warning something about the air, like don't breathe it in. I'm just like, well, I'm already in my car, like, I'm already breathing the fucking air, so what's gonna happen? So it went from that to me finishing my therapy appointment, but it's like 6 o'clock in the morning. So this all happened overnight. My therapy appointment, me getting there and me coming back. And when I finished my therapy appointment, I was with that girl Bella Ramsey.
Belly.
So me and her are like, okay, let's get breakfast. So we go to McDonald's. And so we walk into the McDonald's and tell me why the whole menu was just like nuggets. Like combo number 1 is like 3 nuggets. Combo number 2 is like 5 nuggets.
Not the fact that the air is all like, you know, dying and stuff. You're just going out for nuggets.
But like my whole dream could be explained, you know, is this what tripped me out, because I think I dreamt about the nuggets because that's what I had for lunch. But they were like too crispy, like kind of gross, like they just weren't good. And so then I finally get home, but I'm calling my boss because I have work that morning. So in my dream, it's like 7 a.m. and I have work at 9. I call my boss and I'm like, hey, listen, I just got home from my therapy appointment. It took me all night. I'm not coming in. I'm tired. And then in my dream, I realized that that whole thing was a dream within my dream. So then I was like, oh, boss, actually, I think I just dreamt that. And then it was just complete silence on the phone. And then my boss in my dream like hung up on me. So then I went to work in real life and I was like, listen, I don't appreciate you hanging up on me on my dream.
Wow.
That was really rude of you.
I can't believe you did this.
I know. But anyways, that was my weird dream. But it was all like, it could all be explained because I had work I had that dream Sunday night. And Sunday I had worked like a 9 close to 10 hour shift.
Yeah, 9 to 6.
And then I had to work again the next morning, 9 to 6. But I'm possibly working till 7 because, you know, we're short staffed and it's been crazy. And in real life, I kind of wanted to call out because I was exhausted. So like, I don't know, it just tripped me out that my whole dream made sense.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's your subconscious trying to tell you something.
That I'm tired.
And
that you need a break.
The Last of Us.
Willing to drive miles for therapy.
Maybe.
Yeah. Maybe. Well, I did find a new therapist. Well, I'm not gonna say where it's at, but I found a new therapist. I have my first appointment at the end of the month, so hopefully it goes well. Hopefully I get along with the therapist and they're not weird, because I've had a weird therapist before.
What?
Yeah, my first therapist ever. I would go into the sesh, like, you know, when you go to therapy, it's about you, right? But I would get in there and the therapist would be like, so don't you want to know, like, why I'm doing this? Don't you want to know, like, why I'm into, like, therapy and, like, why I got into this and stuff like that? Oh, so, like, my family? And I'm like, bitch, this ain't about you. It's about me.
I'm paying you money for myself. Not about my money to you. About your life.
But anyways, that was my dream that I wanted to share.
Interesting.
Thank you. Yeah. All right. Well, that all being said, Chelsea, would you like to take us into the first segment of True Crime?
Yeah. So we got an interesting character today.
Ooh.
I hope that this is going to be as entertaining as when you and I talked to Javi about Griselda Blanco.
Ooh, exciting.
So our true crime topic of the week is David Parker Ray, aka the Toy Box Killer.
Oh.
I've heard about this guy.
Yes, I think we've talked about him on the podcast, which it kind of threw me for a loop because I started panicking thinking that we had already done him.
Yeah.
And that sounded really wrong. Anyways.
Be a few you already done.
Anyways, so David Parker Ray was born November 6, 1939. He was an American kidnapper, torturer, serial rapist, and only a suspected serial killer because no bodies were actually ever found.
That's it?
Yeah, that's it.
Oh.
So, police believe he killed as many as 60 women in the states around Arizona and New Mexico area where he lived. He and his sister Peggy lived with their strict grandfather and was rarely visited by his violent alcoholic father as a child. And when his father did visit, he would give him sadomasochist pornography magazines. So, this, on top of him often being bullied by his classmates for his shyness around girls, played a role in how he developed his sexual fantasies.
Mm-hmm.
His sister had actually found disturbing drawings that he made, but nothing ever came of them, which I feel like if she had like brought them to the attention that all of this could have been prevented, you know.
You know what? I hate hearing, when we talk about serial killers, and this has happened a few times when you and I talk about our serial killers, where there's a moment in time where something is discovered
And
where,
not brought to attention.
yeah, and it
Yeah.
could have been, things could have been prevented. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Exactly. Yeah. That's like a a whole other topic that we can just totally have a whole segment or even a podcast episode on.
Yeah.
So anyways, David graduated high school, he joined the army and was later honorably discharged. Prior to his crimes, he would be divorced 4 times, one of which would end up being an accomplice.
Oh.
His nickname comes from his method of using a semi-trailer with soundproofing, which he called his toy box. He
Oh
would
no.
kidnap Yeah. He would kidnap 5 to 6 women a year and held them for about 3 to 4 months. Would typically torture his victims with surgical tools, and the rest of this is gonna need a trigger warning, so if you're squeamish, just skip.
Okay, can I skip?
No.
Oh.
Your ears
So
open, Vero.
so David would sexually abuse his victims and wait for it. Sometimes he would also involve his dog and his willing wife and after his divorce in all of his sexual abuse crimes.
What?
So he had a bunch of people partaking in this.
It
hmm
reminds me of that little girl in the basement.
What little girl in the basement?
The little girl who was in the basement. Chelsea probably knows.
I can think of like 5, so you're gonna have to be more specific than that.
The one where it was the little girl in the basement who was fostered by this one woman and her 2 or 3 kids she had, and then
Is she the one that like managed to escape and ran into a cop?
No,
Oh,
she
that's a
never
different one?
escaped. Yeah,
Oh.
her father was paying this woman to keep her in the basement.
Oh my
What?
No,
god.
not to keep her in the basement. I'm sorry. The father was paying this woman to keep her like well and okay.
So he didn't know.
He didn't know. He just wanted her to be safe wherever she was living, I guess, at the time. I don't
Yeah.
remember this little girl's name. There's a movie based off of it with Ellen Page.
I love how ironic this is that you're the one that complained that we would often change the subject
Oh, all right.
and get off track.
Yeah, it's just sad though because the reason why I'm saying this is that the neighborhood kids would come in and torture her as well. Like
Oh my
the woman
god.
would force like bottles up her vagina.
Stop.
Yeah, trigger warning. I'm sorry, but yeah, this was horrible. Like the neighborhood kids would come in and torture her because the woman was like, "Go at it, free, feel free, fuck her," and it
Oh
was
my
horrible. I don't remember her name. And the house that she lived in, they demolished that house. They were like, "Fuck that house."
I
Yeah.
don't blame them.
Yeah.
I've never heard about this
Oh,
before.
I forgot.
We'll
the
look
name
it
of
up
the
after.
little
We'll look
girl.
it up after.
Okay.
Chelsea, sorry.
And you guys can
Continue.
put it
Sorry,
on a different
yeah.
podcast.
Yeah.
That story is horrible.
Yeah.
Horrible story.
Yeah.
Okay, so going back to
I'm sorry.
going back to even more horrible stuff. So David preferred to use whips, chains, pulleys, straps, clamps, spreader bars, blades, electrical shock machines, and saws in his torture.
All right.
Besides
You know what?
these,
You lost me at sauce.
that's where I stopped. So besides these, he also had a mirror above the table which he strapped them to so they could watch everything that he was doing.
Stop.
Yeah.
Is this the guy that dumped all the bodies in the lake?
No bodies were found.
Huh.
Pay attention, Z. You gotta pay attention.
I'm
First of all,
sorry.
there's no spoilers allowed.
I'm sorry.
So,
Continue, Chelsea.
His daughter, like I said, aided him in his crimes. Specifically, she aided in the kidnappings, and to prevent the women from reporting the assaults, he would often drug them. Here's what makes me mad about the case. None of the stuff that I said is what makes me mad. This is what makes me mad. Several of the women who were his victims were not believed at the times that they occurred.
Stop. I hate that. I hate that so
Yeah.
much. I
Yeah.
hate hearing victims like reach for help and then like
Nobody cares.
like people that call 911 and they freaking hang up on them or don't
Yeah,
take them seriously. I
Yeah.
hate that because I've heard, here I go going off topic, I'm sorry, but I've heard it, like I've heard like 911 calls where kids are calling because like I don't know, a parent or something like collapsed or something, and then like they think that they're being pranked, and it's like they don't pay attention to it, and then they die. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, ugh, I hate
I don't
that.
I don't care if you think it's a prank or not. You're a 911 operator. You still need to dispatch somebody.
And if they're lying, they'll get charged. You know, like
Yeah.
what's it to you? Just send the cops,
Uh-huh.
and then let them deal with the consequences if they are like BSing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's better to be safe than sorry.
Exactly.
Exactly.
So, the woman that caused David's arrest and his girlfriend at the time's arrest was Cynthia Vigil. She escaped when David went to work and got into a fight with Cindy Hendy, the girlfriend, and ended up being locked in the chains and getting stabbed with an ice pick. So, go Cynthia. Escaped wearing only an iron slave collar and padlock chains, but was still able to run and seek help from a neighbor. So, police were called. David and Cindy were both arrested. To kind of give more insight into Cynthia Vigil, after all of this happened, like a couple years later, she also started called Street Safe, which works with sex workers and other vulnerable people to aid in a harm reduction process in New Mexico.
I applaud that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good shit.
Yeah. She kind of reminds me of Mary Vincent, where she like
I
went
was
on to
just thinking that. I was just thinking that.
So after Cynthia, Angelica Montano came forward with a similar story to hers, but when she had been released on the highway and told an officer what happened, he accused her of lying and left her at a bus stop. She later called the police station, but nothing became of her claims.
Ugh.
Yeah, nothing would happen with those until the trial. So police were able to identify another victim, Kelly Garrett, from a tattoo on her ankle in a videotape that dated back to 1996. She was held captive and tortured for 2 days before David dropped her off at her house, like literally dropped her off at her house, and told her husband that he found her incoherent on the beach.
What the hell?
Yeah, her husband didn't file for a divorce soon after.
Stop.
What?
Stop.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
nobody believes this poor woman.
Wow.
God.
So, one of David's accomplices, Dennis Roy Yancey, pleaded guilty to the murder of a 22-year-old Marie Parker in 1999. He said that he had helped David's daughter lure her into the trailer, so his daughter helped this guy too. But because her body was never found, David wasn't considered a connection to this case.
Wow. That's horrible.
Yeah.
So this is the worst story time ever.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Your segment last episode kind of gives this one a run for its money.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah. At least he didn't have a bloody smoothie.
What?
Yeah. Oh, you gotta. Z still hasn't listened to the last episode.
I listened to the one before that.
Yeah.
I've caught up on all of them.
Yeah, the last episode is major trigger warning.
Okay.
Yeah, like it makes mine look like a cupcake.
Yeah.
Anyways, so Cindy Hendy, David's girlfriend at the time, was sentenced to 36 years for her role in the crimes and received parole in 2017, but wasn't released until 2019. So she's out. David's daughter, Glenda Jean, or they also call her Jessie Ray, was charged with kidnapping and criminal sexual penetration and only received a 30-month sentence with 5 years of probation. You got that, right? Okay, just wait. For David, this motherfucker, he agreed to a plea bargain in 2001 and was sentenced to 224 years in prison for the abduction and sexual torture of only the three women that I mentioned before. The plea deal was for his daughter, which she obviously received, and this decision surprisingly was approved by the three victims.
What?
Yeah. So on May 28th, 2002, after his conviction, David was being taken to a correctional facility to be questioned by state police. but before they could interrogation, David Ray died of a heart attack at the age of 62.
Fuck that. I hate that. I hate that. I hate that.
Yeah, you want to talk about some injustice?
Dude, our system is just fucking broken as fuck.
That's ridiculous.
So
But
that's
not-
my segment.
You know what? Fuck you, Chelsea.
Jeez.
Just kidding. We're in Vegas trying to have a good time, and here you are pissing us off.
Name is ground.
Dang.
That's horrible.
It is
Yeah.
horrible.
Yeah, besides the women not being believed, like finding out that he died of a freaking heart attack of all things, like a year, not even a year later, like just really pisses me off. Like,
Yeah. And like Ghosties, those of you that have listened to our podcast episodes from the beginning, there have been multiple serial killers that we have talked about where they have, like, in my opinion, an easy way out.
yeah,
You know what I mean? And that, like,
that's like he got an easy way out this time.
well, I
Like,
mean, who knows where his soul is at right now? So, you know.
yeah.
Something my mom says a lot is El diablo nunca duerme. So the devil never sleeps. So he's always watching. A lot of people say, you know, the man upstairs is always watching. My mom is always, you know, the guy downstairs never sleeps. So he's watching you commit sins and, like, keeping track of it.
Yeah.
If I start slurring, I'm so sorry.
Sorry.
So your mom is basically telling you the religious version of Santa Claus.
Nah.
He's always watching.
Yeah. He sees you when you're sleepy.
He knows when you're awake.
Yeah, that does sound a lot like Satan.
Yeah. He sees when you are sinning.
It's just the N and the A. They're just interesting. Wait,
That's
does
like a
Satan
really
have the
good
same
t-shirt.
letters as Santa?
Yeah.
Don't ruin Santa for me, okay?
So, want to get us started on the paranormal topic of the week?
Yeah, so the paranormal topic of the week that Z and I are going to talk about. I'm cheating. I have help. I have help this week.
How dare you?
I have a small story about it too.
Oh, interesting.
So we're going to be talking about the Aztec Hotel, which is in our hometown of Monrovia, California. It's a beautiful hotel, absolutely stunning from the outside. However, it's been closed for quite some time. There are some rumors that say that, you know, they're just, like, renovating it. So the Aztec Hotel opened to the public in September of 1925, which is something, well, Z and I were researching this. We didn't know that the Aztec Hotel was that old. And it had apparently, when it first opened, the rooms, wait, hold on.
There was supposed to be 100 rooms, but that they turned it down to 50.
100 rooms, but they turned it down to 50. But I was going to mention how there was a star-studded, like, type of opening party that the hotel had back in the day.
That's right.
And unfortunately, the hotel almost immediately ran into serious financial trouble, which unfortunately is going to be an on and off thing throughout the history of the Aztec Hotel. But according to the author, photographer, historian, and paranormal researcher Craig Owens, who has spent many years studying the history of the hotel, he states that local religious and women groups refused to stay there because of murals that were reportedly depicting a lust. That would attract me to go, honestly.
Yeah, I kind of want to.
Yeah, I would definitely go.
Yeah, I want to go. I want to see that.
God, women were so boring back in the day.
Yeah, I know, right?
I'm just kidding. No
You should
offense.
want to go to see the God of Lust.
Yeah, but unfortunately, to add to the Aztec's troubles, it didn't have, like, an electric sign saying, you know, this is the Aztec Hotel, like, vacancy, like, you know, available,
like they do for now, a day hotels.
Mm-hmm. So it reminds me of, like, the movie Cars, right? Where, like, the Route 66 was created separate from Radiator Springs is. So people stopped visiting Radiator Springs because people started driving on the Route 66. So that's what happened with the Aztec Hotel. It was on the Route 66, but then there was a change.
They switched it down further south, and then they made.
But even when it was on Route 66, people couldn't find it because there was no lit up sign saying that
no
it was
indication.
So a lot of people unfortunately missed that.
That's their bad. That's not my bad. Throughout the late 1920s and early 30s, the Aztec became the site of rumors of inequity and vice. So a speakeasy was actually put in the basement and given some credence by the fact that the formerly sleepy hotel suddenly began throwing large and suspicious, well-attended New Year's Eve parties. Then the Great Depression hit, caused business to flag again, and it was once again repossessed by the bank in 1930s. So it goes back to the bank a couple of times throughout history is what I've noticed. And so because of the Route 666, when they did change it further south, when they put the Route 666, it bypassed it completely. So they had nobody coming up there.
Yeah.
The hotel closed again in September of 1932, remaining in limbo for the next 5 years. So it was pretty much just abandoned by that point for 5 years.
That sucks.
So in 1937, with Prohibition over, the Aztec once again reopened. This time its popularity aided by the addition of the cocktail lounge. Who wouldn't want a cocktail lounge? You know what I mean?
For a second, cartel lounge, and I was like, oh, okay. I mean, you're
That
going
makes
from
sense
one
too.
extreme to
That,
the next.
yeah. I mean, who knows who was going there?
Yeah, I mean, there is talk about
Crimes,
crimes,
prostitution,
and illegal
at
shit
that
going
time.
on
Yeah.
at the hotel, which I feel like was easier to commit back in the day. I feel like that's very popular to do.
Yeah,
in hotels.
1920s, 1930s-ish.
We are in Vegas. There's shit still going on in these hotels.
Yeah, true.
Which I do think about driving through, like, the strip.
Mhm.
Like, I do have moments where I look around at the hotels and I'm like, I wonder which hotel, like, shit's going down in.
Ugh.
You know what I mean?
You should try going to New Orleans one day. That's
I would love to go to New Orleans.
Serious history.
I would absolutely love that. Yeah, I would love to experience Mardi Gras.
You want to know what's funny?
What?
Really fast, like off topic, but it's still like about the cartel because you were saying how or what's going on in the hotels.
Mm-hmm.
I was watching this video of a comedian and he's talking to this guy in the crowd and he goes, what do you do for a living? He goes, I'm a defense attorney. And everybody in the crowd starts clapping. They're like, yeah, like, great job. And the comedian goes, no, shut up. He goes, you guys were clapping and you didn't hear what he said. He goes, he's a defense attorney for one family.
Huh.
He goes, we got a motherfucking cartel lawyer in here.
Oh.
And they were showing him and everything, right? They blurred his face out and everything. And in the comments, the guy is like, I want it to be safe. He goes, I don't want any fucking mob trouble.
Oh, dude, yeah, for real. Yeah, shit. Oh, you don't want to fuck with the cartel. No.
Yeah.
That's why when you brought up Griselda Blanco for that one episode, I was like, okay, this is a little... I get scared talking about cartels.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I don't mess with it, like, because...
I rebuke the cartel.
You know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So,
I love that though.
Jeez, dude.
Getting back on topic, so we're not putting our lives on danger anymore.
Yeah, seriously. No. Thanks. No thanks.
So over the next few years, speaking of cartels and shady shit going on, there were some dark rumors that started to circulate of the things that were happening within the walls of the Aztec Hotel, which included organized crime, gambling, sex work, violence, and suspicious number of guests abruptly dying in their sleep.
Abruptly dying my ass. Something else.
Yeah, for real.
I know this sounds like a true crime topic, but we'll get to the haunted part.
Yeah.
At the end, like I'll definitely mention like what I've heard, like what kind of hauntings.
And I'll tell you the story that I know, but it's not my story; it's my aunt's
we
story.
We just want to cover some of the history.
Yeah.
So not only are you
of the history,
the hotel.
So not only are you cheating by having a partner, but now you're cheating because you're doing true crime and paranormal in one.
Whose side are you on, Chelsea? You know what? A little support would be nice.
Apparently not yours, because Z is taking my side. You're right next to her, right?
I'm too busy. I'm reading.
She's right in front of me. She's sitting across the table from me.
Me.
She's gonna find a pillow in her face in the middle of the night.
Dude, you're gonna be on freaking Chelsea's podcast.
No, Chelsea's gonna be on my podcast first. Have you not heard the shit she be saying on
fellow
her podcast?
friend kills other friend in a hotel room with a pillow.
I know that part.
And they were roommates. Jesus Christ. No!
With your blood on it.
Dude, okay, back to the topic at hand.
Wait, listen. No matter which one either me or Veronica commits a crime, just know, Ghosties, that Annabelle is going to be there to talk about it with whoever's not in jail.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
This okay. Let's
Listen,
say
there
this
was
right
warning
now.
signs.
Chelsea, let's do this right now. If anything were to ever happen between you and I, Z would be the one to take over the podcast.
Ooh, yeah.
And
I'm
you
down.
have my permission to interview me. Chelsea, does you have permission to interview you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Chelsea, how did you kill Veronica exactly? What were your intentions at that moment in time?
I blacked
was
out.
it just the
I
rat
don't remember what
poisoning,
happened.
or
No,
or the
it'd be
pillows?
arsenic in her coffee.
Yeah, for real. Yeah, I feel that. Okay.
Are you kidding me? I could just listen. Didn't we just talk about fentanyl in our last episode? I could just buy some Xanax on the street that will most likely have fentanyl in it and like kill you.
So, are you saying you're gonna do my job for me?
Ooh. Ah.
What do you mean do your job for you?
You just said you were gonna go buy pills that most likely had fentanyl. So, are you taking the pills then,
No,
or?
I'm sending you some anxiety pills because you know what? I feel like you've been very anxious lately. Let me help you out.
Okay, so you're buying the pills to kill me. Got it.
Let me help you get some rest and peace.
Listen, I would love to go to sleep and never wake up, but
All right, this is
I got
dark.
shit. I
This
got
is
shit to take
sad.
care of.
No. I'm hurt.
This is why I'm looking for a therapist.
No, stop.
All right, continue, please.
Okay, back to the Aztec Hotel.
Yes, please.
So in 2009, after a period of decline, it did close again. But in 2012, it was said that the owners were trying to renovate the property, though I haven't seen anything. I mean, being a former person who used to live in the town, I haven't seen it open again.
No,
I've
never seen it open.
I've never seen it open. But there is a bar. It's called the Mayan Bar that you could actually visit and get a drink
and the
there
fact
and
that
whatnot.
we haven't gone.
Yeah, we've never gone.
Close to where we live. Now.
Seriously, literally. I just don't understand. We've never gone.
Okay,
but
going.
There is a guy named Craig Owens who he like takes you on tours and stuff of the hotel.
We're gonna definitely look into that because
I
would love.
What street is it on?
Foothill.
No, West Foothill. Because remember, it's not on Route 666 anymore. It's on West Foothill.
Did I not just say Foothill?
No, you said Foothill.
You did. You did.
Your pinky out of your mouth. We're gonna talk about this now. But basically, Craig Owens is the one who he lets you into the hotel and tours you around the place.
Yeah.
I guess he takes you to certain types of like rooms and stuff, and he shows you the entire hotel.
Right.
He says the ghosts don't really bother you; they're just grumps. So they kind of are like you're in their space.
I'm sure these are people that have like I mentioned before, people that just started dying in their sleeps. I assume they were drugged.
Yeah.
Poisoned.
Mm-hmm.
They're grumps. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
Is that girl naked?
What?
What are you talking about?
That girl right there. Does she not have pants on? Is that what I'm noticing right now?
I don't know.
There's a poster in our hotel room.
Now you're gonna have to post it on your freaking Instagram so everybody else knows what the hell you're talking about instead of like just being like, hey, that girl over there that looks like a ghost, is she naked?
Dude, there's a picture, there's like a poster in our hotel room of this girl sitting in the truck, and I'm looking at her, and it doesn't look like she has pants on.
She might not. She might be in a bikini with no pants on.
I don't see
Listen,
no bikini. Like,
I have seen crazy fucking artwork in hotels.
Yeah, same. So, I mean, this is
new. This wasn't here last time.
You stood in a different room.
Well, why does this room have a naked girl?
Because that's a special room.
Oh.
This is our special room.
No, see.
We go to at night to drink and do a podcast.
So back to the Aztec.
Back to the Aztec Hotel. So that's pretty much all we have to say about the Aztec Hotel, but it's definitely on our to-do list
To going.
to go and tour the place.
Tell your small story of like what you've heard.
I will. So what I've heard as far as like the hauntings go.
Yeah.
I've heard, now there's a couple versions.
Yeah.
There's one version simply where a girl falls or something happens and she hits her head really hard on the radiator, you know, like the heaters they used to have back in the day, and that's how she died. And that she haunts the bathrooms, the ladies' room of the hotel, like in the bottom floor in the main
Like Moaning Myrtle.
pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
There's another story where apparently she died during sex in the room, which kind of makes sense because, you know, that is some of the stuff that was going on.
Yeah.
You know, the bad version.
You could have a heart attack during that, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. But that
I mean, you
those
can
are
also suffocate too.
that there's for sure. Chelsea. Anyways, I'm drunk. So yeah, that's what I've heard about the girl that haunts the women's restroom, and I feel like it's very common, but I have heard that she's in a white gown.
Oh,
Very common, like La Llorona is in a white gown as
yeah.
well.
I think every ghost is in a white gown.
Yeah, every woman. But anyways, that's my story. What's your story that you had about it?
So my story about the Aztec Hotel is not mine directly. It is my aunt's story. I'm just going to tell a portion of it because this is secondhand knowledge. I was not there. But my aunt said that she stood in one of the rooms when it was still alive and popping, the hotel. And that when she stood in one of the rooms, I don't know where she stood. I don't know what room she stood in. But whatever room she was in, I guess it outlooked the garden or the patio or something. And I guess her and whoever she was with was being loud. And the window was open all the way. And she said she was standing there talking to somebody. And it had a really nice view of whatever they were looking at. And she said that when she was talking, she was getting really loud because they were drinking, they were having a good time, they were smoking. And then all of a sudden she was talking really loud. They were getting like talking and getting into whatever they were talking about. Then all of a sudden the entire window just closed on her.
Hell no.
And she ran out of the room and just ran outside. She was like, hell no.
Yeah.
Because my aunt is like not about that kind of stuff.
That's scary though, because that's such a loud
scary.
noise and a random thing to happen.
Yeah.
And like I feel like if it was like footsteps, I could deal with that a lot easier with, a lot better with, because I've heard footsteps at home.
Okay.
I've talked about this before where I heard footsteps when I had surgery and I was laying in my room and I had the door open so my parents could take care of me.
Mm-hmm.
And I would literally, I swear, I heard footsteps right outside my door.
Yeah.
And I know my dad's footsteps at the time, you know. He had a very like, he would like drag his feet at night. You know, like like someone,
the
super
shuffle
tired,
kind of walk,
like, And then my mom, she doesn't make any noise. Like you barely hear her getting up. So I don't know who these footsteps were. I don't know what was going on. I don't know who was watching over us because I obviously don't feel anything evil at my house. I feel like there's a presence of something like protecting us or looking after us or even warning us of bad things to come, which I think I've talked about before. But yeah. I could deal with that rather than the window fucking shutting.
Yeah, the window just shut.
That would scare me.
My aunt said it just slammed shut.
Yeah.
Like she looked at it because it made noise and then it just slammed shut. So that would have been a no for me, dog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have been out too.
Have you ever had anything like that, like an experience of something like that happening where it's unexplainable? And you kind of just like, okay, this is weird. This is
so to get, I guess, into a different segment.
Yeah.
My own personal experience. Yeah. So, like the past that I have talked about, yes, I've had those. But then also this other thing that has happened to me actually happened at the Queen Mary.
Oh.
Yeah. So I don't even think it's open anymore.
The Queen Mary, I think
they're doing.
Yeah, and I think they're gonna reopen if they're not open already. And I want to jump on the wagon. And
as soon as they open, I want to jump on the wagon.
That's so important to me that it's on my bucket list.
Yes.
But continue.
Because they have really good like events that happen there.
Yeah.
But anyways, this was not one of those events. It was more like I think it was the 4th of July. I'm not gonna lie, believe it was the 4th of July many years ago. And I went with a really good friend and my mom. Mm-hmm. And when we went, there's a room that they don't even regard as a room. It's like one of those silent things you have to go and look for, because they took off the little placard that says it's room, like say it's room 319. They took off the placard that says it's room 319. And so me and my mom and my friend were all looking for this room. And so when we eventually found this room, when you go down, because the Queen Mary is huge. So when you go down the room, it's like a hallway that goes down into where the room door is at the end of the hallway. And then at the right side is another room. At the left side is another room. When we went down to the end of the hallway, at the very back of the hallway is the room that has no placard. So we were like, holy crap, like this is the room, because I looked it up and I wanted to see it. I looked it up, wanted to see it. I wanted to know what the hell this room was about, because it's one of those rooms where they're like, hey, you could stay in the room for a night, but just be prepared. You might get haunted or obsessed or whatever, because it's that haunted. I don't remember why it's that haunted, but I do remember it is the most insanely haunted room at the Queen Mary.
B340.
Yes, that's the room. B340. That's the room. Mm-hmm. They don't have a placard for it. So at the time that we went, they didn't have a placard for it. I think nowadays they're renting it out. But they didn't at the time.
I watched. I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, it's okay.
There was an episode I absolutely love watching. What is it? Unsolved.
Oh, Unsolved Mystery.
Yes. I'm a total Ryan. And they stayed a night at the Queen Mary, but it was when that room was closed and closed to public.
Yes.
So this room was literally like empty. There's no.
There's nothing
even carpet
in there. Nothing.
No carpet. It was like that cement type of thing.
Yes.
And they had to sleep in sleeping bags.
Uh-huh.
But since then, they have opened it and they do rent it out. And obviously, like Sam and Kobe have been in there. Yeah. What do you think you'd be brave enough to stay in there?
I think I would be brave enough to stay in there, but the thing is that this experience will always stick in the back of my head.
Yeah.
That makes me afraid of it.
Yeah.
So what happened was that we went down to that room, B340, I guess, and we looked through the porthole.
Oh, why would you do that?
Just because I wanted to see. I wanted to see what was in it. Why didn't they have a placard that said it was B340? Like, what the?
And did you see?
Okay, so when I looked through, I'm not gonna lie. When I looked through, I saw nothing. But I saw what Veronica was talking about, where it was just concrete. There was emptiness. There was nothing going on. There was the porthole, like those big windows, the circular windows, wasn't even open. Nothing was going on in that room. Okay. But the porthole was like blowing cold, freezing cold air in our eye. Like we could feel it. Like if you put your hand to it, we could feel how freezing cold it was. Did you smell anything
weird?
From what I remember, no. Okay. I didn't smell anything weird. But it was me and my mom. So me and my mom were the only brave ones that went up to the porthole and looked inside and stuff. We were looking inside, saw nothing. Nothing was going on. It was completely fine. Nothing was in the room. Like you said, there was nothing in the room. And so I was like, okay, like this is a bust. Like, you know, just to see it is cool. Yeah. It's an experience. Yeah. But now we're done. We saw it. We can go now. Yeah. Like just to tour the Queen Mary in general is like just an experience. Yeah. But when you feel that cold air on your eye and there's no wind from anywhere, it was kind of chilling in a way. Like spine chilling. Like, oh my God, there's nothing, there's no air in there. You know there's no air in there. So that already was kind of freaky. But then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, me and my mom were walking back from that long hallway, like I said, because there's a long hallway. Yeah. And I lied when I said that there was a back room. There is the back B340, but there's only another room on the other side. I don't think there's two rooms. There's only one other room. So it's B340 all the way in the back where you walk straight to it, and then another room on the right side. Right. Nobody was in that room. And so when we went all the way back there, we checked out B340. We were totally fine. But then all of a sudden, me and my mom were walking back up the hallway, and we heard the door handle go. And me and my mom just freaked out. Mind you, the friend that was still there, I freaking ran, dude. I didn't give a shit about nobody. I didn't care if anybody lived or died. I was gone. I ran down the hallway fast as I could to the elevators because I was gone. My mom said, because this is like secondhand knowledge from me, she said that she grabbed my friend, pulled him with us and took him, boom, blasted off with him all the way to the elevators where I already was, because that's how loud that was. And I remember seeing the door and seeing the handle just go.
You saw the handle.
I saw the handle move for a second.
Oh my god.
So, mind you, I had already looked through the porthole and nobody was in there. So I just took it. I just ran. Yeah. Fight or flight, and flight, all for me.
I love
ran.
how
I couldn't handle it.
I love the story that I've heard either from you or from like somebody that was with you. You always run, and I feel like you would be the one to survive a horror movie.
I might, because my first instinct is just run away. Run away.
So my eyes got watery when she was talking about that, because like I've talked about this before.
Yes,
but the reason why Z's story made my eyes watery was because the whole thing with the door handle.
Yes,
because the first time I ever went to the Whaley house, I went with my parents, and so it was me, my mom, and my dad. And they know I'm into this stuff. They know, they're cool with it, whatever. They do make fun of me, but whatever. Well, my mom does now. My dad used to. And so we went to Old Town San Diego, because the Whaley house is right across the street. Yeah, in the heart of Old Town.
Yeah.
And it's right across the restaurants, the bars, and everything. Yes. It's so crazy. And anyways, that's a whole different topic. But anyways, I remember my parents were walking on the sidewalk, and I went behind the house because you could walk into the backyard. It's all around the house.
Yeah.
And I remember being like in the back of the house towards the side, and there was no tours going on. This was COVID. This is 2020. I think this is it was probably September or August where we went, because my dad passed away in October, so it hasn't been like a month or two prior, because we went to the San Diego Zoo. I'm sorry. So my parents were walking on the sidewalk. I went behind. And I remember standing there just taking in the beauty, because it's actually a really beautiful area. And I just hear like a door handle moving, And then I remember turning around, and I remember looking at the doors, the door of the house, and there was like a small shed in the back. And I remember just staring, waiting for someone to walk out, like, oh, there's probably like someone living in the house or like security. No one ever came out. No tours were going on because it was in the middle of COVID. So, hearing Z talk about like the door handle going crazy, like kind of like reminded me of that. And it just, oh my God, my eyes just got watery.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I'm not scared. It was just more of a, like, this shit is like, this shit happens.
This is real. Yeah, this is real.
These are real experiences.
Mm-hmm. Crazy.
Yeah, but so something I want to mention really quick. Z and I are going to the Haunted Museum tomorrow here in Vegas, and I'm really excited. The reason why I'm more excited now after doing this episode is because of hearing how you run.
Oh, dude, I
run. Scared. You can't run in this museum, bro. You have to ask permission to leave, and you have to wait for someone to come and like escort you out.
Ugh.
He's gonna be that person that runs.
Yeah, I'm scared for myself.
Are you gonna visit Peggy?
I don't think I'm going to.
That's what I've been asking her. Are you gonna go in? Honestly,
I don't know. Dolls are not my favorite.
I know, but with Peggy the doll, it's like Robert the doll, right? Where you just make sure you're respectful. It's up to you if you even want to look her in the eye. You could walk. It's like a U type of room where you walk in, you walk through the edge of the room, and you come back out, right? It's like that with the Dybbuk box. But you have the choice of looking her in the eye or not. I do. 1, I feel protected. 2, I'm not disrespecting her. I do say, hello, Peggy. Goodbye, Peggy. Thank you for letting me visit you. And then I walk out of the room.
Do you look her in the eye when you say goodbye?
I've looked her in the eye both times that I visited her.
No thanks. I have too many dolls in my room.
I have.
Yes, you fucking do, and they scare me. Yes, you do.
I feel like Veronica probably has a haunted doll in her house. That's probably what she feels. But also, she's got dolls, or like other people feel like negative, and and it really backs the idea that I think Veronica is the evil one.
It's all that bully that comes into play.
Listen, I know I'm into this stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'm not stupid. I don't disrespect these. You and I have gone to the Colorado Bridge. You know how I interact with these ghosts. I don't. Who the fuck is here? Like, is there anybody here? Talk to us. No. I'm sorry you decided to take your own life on this bridge. If you're willing to talk to us, talk to us. If not, okay, fine. So be it. Let us just be these two girls that are trying to talk to ghosts.
Yeah.
I don't go into it disrespectfully.
I said how I had such bad vibes at Suicide Bridge, and you're just like talking to them, and I'm like,
you know what? I remember that episode. It makes me laugh every single time.
What makes me laugh is that I remember taking Miley, one of our avid listeners, one of our friends. I remember taking her to the bridge. She claims I kidnapped her and took her ghost hunting.
I don't.
Whatever.
That wouldn't surprise me.
No.
Anyways, and we did like a little photo shoot. If you guys don't know, I have a photography page. It's photography by Mata_94. Anyways, shout out.
Follow and like for more.
Yeah. And so anyways, I took her there and I posted obviously the pictures I took of her on my photography page, and my nephew Javi, who was on boy. A few sausage.
I'm sorry, I listen to the podcast, okay? Sausage boy. Let's get it straight. Sausage boy. Keep going.
Oh my God. For those of you who do not get the reference, I'll be more than happy to explain. So, he is my nephew. He was on the episode where we talked about Griselda Blanco. If you guys are interested in listening to that episode, Javi and I were at the cemetery visiting my brother's grave and my dad's grave, and all of a sudden it started smelling like sausages, like a barbecue type of thing. And Javi called it out, like, "Oh shit, someone's barbecuing." I was like, "No, honey, they're burning bodies." Those are people burning.
Oh, Javi.
Sweet man. That's why Z is calling him Sausage Boy, which is wow. Wow.
Speaking of burning bodies, do you guys do you guys know who Matt Rife is?
No.
Is he a comedian?
So. Yeah, he's a comedian.
That white boy, cute boy?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'll show you on TikTok.
He was in Pennsylvania doing a show, and he was talking to the audience, and they were like, yeah, Pennsylvania had the first crematorium, and he was like, how do you know that? Why do you know that? Like, that's something weird to know. But then everybody in the audience starts going, yeah, now it's next to a nursing home. And he's like, the convenience of that.
Oh, that's fucked.
But wait, it gets worse. It gets worse. They go, yeah, there's also a cemetery right next to Children's Hospital. And he goes, that's not right. He goes, they should put it next to the school.
Oh my God.
Oh shit.
No, Matt. No,
the fucking audience was dying. The fucking audience was dying.
Well, listen, that's our reality nowadays, right? With all these shootings going on in these schools.
I know, but Jesus Christ. It makes me hurt.
So you're gonna get butthurt, not you, but I'm saying like people are gonna get butthurt when a comedian talks about that, but not take the actual subject seriously, you know?
Yeah. And I feel like
comedians always talk about like the reality of things. Like I don't remember who it was, but said that like in 2018, 2017, somebody said, "Hey, we need a new plague." Fucking COVID happened. Like, dude, I was like, oh shit. I don't know what could be
plague like every 100 years.
Yeah.
There is. Yeah, for sure. There is.
I'm glad I won't be alive for the next one.
Me too.
Right? Like 1918, I think was the last one that was the influenza.
Jesus. Damn.
I feel like I was talking about something.
You
were.
Sorry, I don't remember what it was.
You said something about Suicide Bridge and Javi and Miley.
Yes, the sausages.
Oh.
Yeah. Z, you can no longer for going off topic.
Yeah, real.
I won't. I
I
promise.
am no longer
won't.
apologizing. Every time Chelsea and I get off topic, I'm
Yeah.
like, all right, sorry, Z. No.
Be like, fuck you, Z.
Exactly.
Understood. I
But
get
anyways, when I posted that picture of
it now.
Miley
About
on my
Sausage Boy. Yeah.
on my photography page, Sausage Boy was like, "You like taking everyone there, huh?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's like my place,
My
spot.
date spot.
It's
My date spot.
Yeah.
That's your initiation. If you don't get taken to Suicide Bridge by Veronica, she doesn't like you.
Aww.
Dang.
Dang. Because there's some people who haven't been taken, so dang.
No, I haven't. But they don't listen
That's
to the podcast. We're fine.
That's true.
that's as bad as like the last episode where I was like, I asked you something about which friend would you sacrifice, and you were just like, well, which friend?
I
That
didn't see the last podcast. Damn it.
yeah.
I
So
don't think you worded that right.
yeah, I don't think I did either.
Because you said,
wait.
when I asked,
Say
Okay,
it again, Chelsea. Say it again.
yeah, let me try again.
Okay, go ahead.
and action.
So when I said if you don't get taken to Suicide Bridge, they're not their real friends, that's almost as bad as when in last episode I asked you a question about would you sacrifice your friend or cut off your own hand? I think it was something like that, and you were like, well, which friend? If you haven't gotten if you have Suicide Bridge, you're probably that friend.
No, but for real, which friend though? Like, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I have to make sure.
You have to
Basically
be
anybody you
Have
haven't
to
taken to
do
Suicide
mash
Bridge.
Yeah.
Mash it up. Like, okay,
Yeah.
maybe.
Oh my god, we should play MASH.
We
Do
are,
you remember that?
we are old as fuck. Like that.
I put Pedro Pascal, Richard Madden.
God.
Who would be my third guy?
Wait. For Chelsea, it would be what's his face?
Skeet Ulrich.
Skeet Ulrich.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure. Skeet Ulrich is like at the top. And then who else?
Let's just put Ghostface, period.
Yeah, Ghostface in general. And then who was the third one?
I'm very interested to hear this third one.
Yeah, me too.
Let's put Pedro in there to make it interesting.
No, she would hate us.
Yeah, we're talking about me, not you, Veronica.
Ew, first of all, my world. You please. This is a disaster episode.
This is pretty good, though.
I love it.
Yes. I still have one more segment on me, do I?
What's up? What's going on?
No. Just in general, right? Like,
but we're going to do the tarot reading for you.
Yes.
Okay.
And then I had that one segment that's not mine, but it's my mom's. I guess where I can start is this is not my experience. This is secondhand knowledge. I have no actual, like, individuality to this.
Mm-hmm.
I just have, like, what I've been told.
Right.
So my mom, her grandma, her mom all not lived, but like were in this house that had like 3 stories from what I remember. Mm-hmm. And my mom was riding around on the first floor on her little tricycle, like in The Shining. Yeah.
That's creepy.
Dude, I know. It's my mom, though. She's a little weird. So she's riding around on the tricycle in the first like area of the house. And my great grandma, that would be my great grandma, right? My grandma's mother.
If it's your mom's grandma, it's your great grandma.
Okay, so my great grandma was dying in the 2nd story or the 3rd story of this house.
This is kind of disturbing in a way. Okay, go ahead.
Yes, trigger warning. It's really weird. But my great grandma was into black magic. So like that real bad. This is why I don't fuck with certain things, okay? Because I understand how they work.
Yeah.
And I get real scared.
Yeah.
So my great grandma was dying in like the 2nd story or 3rd story of this house, and my mom was riding around on her tricycle, and there was a.
Sorry, that shit's so creepy.
It's so creepy. I know. It's my mom. I don't know.
Continue.
So there was a room that my mom was not allowed in since she was like born. She was not allowed in this room because it was my great grandma's like
black
magic room. It even had a fucking pentagram on the floor.
This is giving me Carrie vibes. You know that little room?
Yes, like it had a pentagram painted on the floor. Painted on the floor. Ew. Like I don't know how. Like what else was in the room? There was vials. My mom said certain kinds of like chemical, like potions and stuff, all scattered around the room. The only reason why she knew this is because when she was riding around on her tricycle and my great grandma was dying in the room above where my grandma was, like consoling her, taking her in, being like, "Are you okay?" Like consultation kind of thing. She was like, "Are you like, you know?" my great grandma apparently like appeared in this room where my mom had like put her little tricycle up to this door, and she was like, like, what are you doing here, like, kind of thing. And my great grandma said, no, mija, you can't be in here. And she did this with her hand. She like swiped the door, being like 50 feet away from the door. She swiped the door and the door closed on my mom.
Yeah.
And my mom was like, okay, I guess I can't go in that room. And she kept tricycling around the fucking first floor. And I was like, dude, like, you don't think that's like a good story to tell people? Like, well, your grandma, her grandma was dying on the floor above. Like, you don't think that's a good story to tell people?
Yeah.
So yeah, her grandma was dying. Her grandma was dying on the floor above, while her grandma was on the floor down below saying, no, you can't be in here. And she closed the door without touching the door.
I got chills.
Yeah.
That story freaks me out till this day. Like,
I don't like that we're talking about this before we're gonna play hide and seek in our pitch black hotel room.
dude, I still have to put on pajamas. Oh God, yeah.
I feel like we have to go downstairs to the casino to kind of like get out of the darkness.
Yeah,
you know?
I'm in that buzz zone where it's like waves.
I'm not. I don't know where.
But
I'm
with
at.
the bugs.
I don't know where I'm at.
I think I need to eat some wings and that'll be fine.
Yeah, we do need to eat.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go ahead and move on to the tarot card reading.
Go ahead, I'm scared.
Oh,
Don't be.
yeah, don't be. It's not my kids
I'm
that
not-
gave you a tarot reading. You're good.
Oh, you need to do a tarot card reading where her fucking daughters pick cards, bro.
I fucking heard about that. That shit is crazy. I was like, holy shit, dude, I'm down. I'm down.
No, you're
Those
not.
kids are crazy. I'm down.
Okay, so we'll do one. I'll have the girls pick one out for you for next episode.
Okay.
So for this episode, Z is wanting a talk with your future self spread, and it's a what?
She's scared.
I was like, I didn't even start yet. What's so funny?
Me and my future self are scared.
So it's a 5-card spread, and card 1 represents your present self. Card 2 represents your future self that will thank you for, like your future self will thank this. Card is your future self wants you to focus on whatever the card is.
Okay.
Card 4 is your future self tells you what you need to cut off. And
Me?
card 5
No, Vero.
that's not allowed here.
No. We don't do that.
And card 5 is advice from your future self.
Okay.
So, card 1 is your present self, and this comes through the 8 of Cups.
Oh, okay. 8 of Cups. Okay.
You are walking away from a lot of situations because of disappointment and you just like reaching your limit. You have strength to move away from that situation. So this is a good time for embarking on self-discovery and going on adventures.
Okay.
So that's your present self.
Okay.
So card 2, your future self will thank you for this. And this comes through the 2 of Pentacles reversed. So your future self will thank you for asking for help when you need it. Right now, you're starting to overcommit and you have way too much to organize and balance, which can end up leading you to making bad decisions. And so asking for help will help you in the future and yourself will thank you for it. So card 3 is what your future self wants you to focus on, and this comes through the Hermit. You're drawing attention to your inner self and you're in need of a period of like inner reflection, like going away from what your demands are and just kind of focusing on your sense of truth and knowledge of yourself. So you need to focus, like all of these cards are basically saying like you need to focus right now. So card 4 is telling you to cut off, and this comes through the 3 of Swords reversed. Like I said previously, like your other cards are telling you that you're experiencing conflict and stuff like that. This card is 2, and so it's telling you that you need to either cut somebody off or reconcile with somebody who hurt you in order to release the pain and past traumatic experiences. So not accepting the situation things worse, but letting go of the pain and past hurts will help you to move forward. So you need to cut off either not letting accept past or you need to cut off the person that is making the choices that you have going on right now harder.
Huh. Okay.
May I ask, is this like relevant to you? Like, is it making sense or?
It feels like it does, kind of, but there's
Mhm.
certain things I'm like, I don't really know who it is I cut off, because I've already cut off so many people that I feel like are like, I need to be away from them.
Mm-hmm.
So then, like the card says, like it's either that or it's accepting the past and either reconciling or like accepting it in order to move on.
So maybe it's that.
Yeah.
Continue, Chelsea, please.
Okay. So the last card, card 5, is advice from your future self, and this comes through the 6 of Cups. So the advice is you're feeling nostalgic and homesickness, and you're seeking to find like either reunion or comfort from your family and close friends. And this is reminding you of a time that was simpler. And so focusing on the simplicity of life will actually help you to make your life simple like it was from a child perspective.
Oh, that's real.
Advice from your future self, make your life less complicated. And that's it. That's your reading.
I want a more in-depth one later.
Yeah.
Okay. We can definitely do that.
Yeah, next reading will be for Z, and we'll definitely have your cards pulled by Remy and Izzy, because that's an experience in itself.
I've heard, listening to this podcast, I was like, holy shit, dude.
Hey, Chelsea, do me
Yeah.
a favor.
What?
Let's do this live on the podcast, right? So I want to dedicate this episode to my brother, Carlos. Today, the day we're recording, is his 3-year anniversary. Would you mind pulling a card for me? Maybe like a message that he has for me?
Yeah, sure.
Or just a message for today, you know?
Okay. Veronica, 1 or 2?
Fuck. 1.
I was going to say, fuck is not an option. Okay. So, what does your brother have to tell you? This comes through the High Priestess reversed. So,
This is going to be something crazy.
yeah, so you have secrets and you're withdrawing yourself from other people. You need to draw attention into your inner intuition and focus on what is right for you and you only.
How do you take that? Like, cuz like, how would you take that? Like, what kind of message would you be getting from that?
I need to focus on myself and figure out what inside of me I need to do,
rather than what other people
want to
Yeah,
say.
so like basically it's saying to focus on decisions that are right for you without like don't worry what people need or want. It's you and you only.
Damn, dude, your brother's calling you out.
Fuck yeah,
Well, listen. It's hard being the only one taking care of my mom. And my mom means a lot to me, and her opinion means a lot to me. And I do revolve a lot of my life around her life. But I am proud to say that I am, putting me first a lot. I'm setting my boundaries. Even if they're small, it's still a start.
Yeah,
but
so something.
Okay. All right.
Fair enough.
I feel like if anybody could get away with telling you that, it would be her.
Yeah, for real.
I mean, I kind of got that message from my other brother too on Saturday. So, you know what? Whatever.
So death, your brother will still gang up on you with your other brothers. That's good to know.
For real. It's cool. Thank you, Chelsea.
Yes, of course.
So, all that being said, Ghosties, it's pretty obvious this episode was a special episode, a long one. So, I hope you stuck around. We had a lot of fun. Z, you had fun.
I had fun.
Chelsea, you had fun.
I had fun.
Hopefully we could do this again. But all that being said, Ghosties, thank you so much for listening. We appreciate your love and support. If you could please give us a follow on Instagram, subscribe and like to our YouTube. And if you want a free tarot card reading, feel free to DM us. We can keep your identity secret. He's an alias. Don't matter to us. You guys have a good night, and we'll talk to you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.